the beautiful ash tree on this windswept day, full of mythology, folklore and history. Let's take a look at this beautiful tree.
The average lifespan of an ash tree is about 200 years, but they can live up to 350 years and even longer. These tall dome trees can reach up to 40 metres in height. The leaves on the ash tree grow from May onwards, which allow any surrounding ground plants a chance to grow well. Its compound leaves are arranged in pairs. The seeds, the winged seeds, are called keys, grown in bunches. The bark of the ash tree has smooth and greenish grey bark, which turns grey with age. When you look closely at the magnificent trunks, it's no wonder that our ancestors believed that nymphs, dryads, and even the fairy folk lived in and amongst these beauties. In Greek mythology, the Melia were the nymphs associated with these beautiful ash trees.
The nymphs were created by the blood that fell to earth when the Titan, Cronus, castrated his father, Uranus, so that he could take over.
The mighty Cronus and the mighty Uranus.
On Ash Wednesday, children were told to bring a twig from the ash tree to school. They would bring it into school in their sock and they had to keep it there. Now, any child that had forgotten their twig risked getting their feet stamped on by the children that had remembered. In some schools, the twig had to be disposed of by 12 o'clock. As the clock struck 12, the twig had to be gone. It's a strange thing because this custom started in the 1930s and continued into the 1970s, early 1970s. So a lot of people that you talk to remember doing this.
Black-bellied ash tree twigs were used. This could represent the ash in Ash Wednesday, asking God for his forgiveness of our sins.
Newborn babies were given a spoonful of ash sap before they left their mother's side for the first time. This was to help ward off disease and mortality.
Ash leaves were gathered and placed next to the cradle to stop a malevolent fairy from taking the newborn infant.
People thought ash trees had such healing powers they would bring their children to an ash tree. They thought that they could heal their child or keep them healthy. Mortality was so high, the rate was so high, that folklore played a big part in trying to keep your child healthy.
A fallen ash tree still continues to support lots of wildlife, and the rotting wood is a valuable invertebrate habitat.
An abundance of wildlife love ash trees. Wrens, wood mice, bats, they all love this tree. And bullfinches will even eat the keys in winter when food is scarce.
Ash tree seeds are called samaras, what we call the helicopters and the whirligigs, especially when we were children and we used to pick them up and make them fly.
Ash trees were used to ward off evil spirits. You would burn the wood and this would keep the spirits away. Also, even today, ash is known as the Venus tree.
The Yggdrasil, the world tree in Viking mythology. It grew on an island surrounded by the ocean, in the depths of which the world serpent lay. The ash tree's trunk reached up to the heavens, and its boughs spread out over all the countries of the earth. Its roots reached down into the underworld. Odin, the foremost god of the Vikings, hung himself on an ash tree, a sacrificial ordeal, during which he lost an eye to ravens. Ultimately, though, he was rewarded with insights and wisdom, notably knowledge of the system of the runes. Both he and Thor, the god of thunder, possess magical spears made of ashwood. The Yggdrasil contains the 9 realms that make up the cosmos. The Norns lived in a great hall in Asgard. They were responsible for caring for the tree and kept it from withering. Norse mythology and the ash tree are truly fascinating.
Ash trees also represent good luck, and carrying an ash leaf in your pocket was very lucky, especially if it had even leaflets. You would have lots of luck.
St.Pancras Old Church, London, steeped in stories and history. The saying, "No respecting Londoner wouldn't be seen dead there," refers to its notorious reputation for being a grave robber's favourite site to carry out their grisly body snatching. In the 1860s, in order to make way for the new train line, an architecture firm was contracted to perform the sensitive task of exhuming the remains and reburying them on another site. Their young employee, called Thomas Hardy, was given this task. Once the bodies had been moved and relocated, Hardy's solution was to place the gravestones in a circular pattern around a beautiful ash tree. Life and death moulding into one image of grotesque and gothic beauty. People are mesmerised by this sight of nature and death. This famous site became known as the Hardy tree. The young employee, Thomas Hardy, became the author and poet that we love so much today.
If a young maiden put ash leaves under her pillow, she would have prophetic dreams and would have a vision of her love to be.
Many lichen are hosted by the ash tree, beautiful to look at and fascinating. The most tragic thing about the ash tree is the ash dieback, the most devastating tree disease to hit the UK in 60 years, killing trees across the country. Hymocyphus fraxinus is what the disease is called, and it comes from Asia, and it's a fungus which spreads even when the leaves are rotting on the ground. It's still infected.
The Druids used ashwood for a magical staff, and this would connect them from the earth all the way to the heavens. In Irish mythology, 5 trees guarded Ireland, and 3 of those were ash trees.
The tiny village of Fortingal, the famous Fortingal yew. But it isn't the only famous tree in the vicinity. Nearby is the Glen Lyon ash, one of the largest and oldest of its kind in Scotland. The tree's impressive girth measures 6.4 metres and is estimated to be between 300 and 400 years old.
Ash is often mentioned in literature, and the Roman poet Virgil mentions the ash.
Fraxinus in Silvus pulcherrima. The ash is the most beautiful tree in the woods. The ash in the Celtic tree calendar falls between the 18th of February to the 17th of March. Ash trees are known for their naturally shock-absorbing wood. It is popular for making tool handles, axes, oars, flooring. Ash is dioecious, meaning that the male and female flowers typically grow on different trees, although a single tree can also have male and female flowers on their branches. The young shoots are edible and can be added to salads. Tree sap can be tapped to make a wine. The keys can be eaten as a pickle. Have you ever tried ash tea? The flowers are purple and appear before the leaves in the spring.
Ash trees are one of the first trees to come out in leaf in the spring.
Look deep inside the hollow ash tree. You never know what you might find. It could be something from this world, or maybe another world. Oak before ash, in for a splash. Ash before oak, in for a soak. The even ash leaf in my glove. The first I meet shall be my love. Avoid the ash, it draws the flash. The ash Ash Tree Fairy by Cicely Mary Barker. All through the seasons, the ash tree shows its splendour, from its beautiful green canopy into its autumn golds that glisten in the sun. The ash tree is truly beautiful.
I hope you've enjoyed this episode all about our beautiful ash trees. Until next time.